Come with us as we recap the new Tyler Perry movie called Straw, because this is my last straw with Tyler. Always showing struggling single black women, but you already know I was sat and entertained. All thanks to Taraji and Sherri Shepard's strong performances. Janiah Wilkinson lays asleep with her daughter. She dreams of the previous night before with her daughter at the hospital. She wakes up to another hot morning and prepares her daughter, Arya, for school. She bathes the kid, afraid that she'll have another seizure and fall again. Arya is excited to show off her science project. However, she hasn't paid her lunch money and the other kids are making fun of her. It's $40. So, Janiah promises she'll pay it later. Even though they're struggling, Janiah gives Benny, another apartment tenant, some change. The ghetto landlord is not pleased because Janiah hasn't paid her rent yet. She threatens to throw all of their things if she fails to pay. Janiah promises to pay by 10 a.m. once she gets her salary. She drives Arya to school and waves hello to her teacher, who waves back. By the time Janiah gets to work, the grocery store is already chaotically busy. Not only does she deal with the cruel store manager, Richard, but she also has to deal with rude customers trying to buy Takis with their WIC card. A friend offers her money for Arya's medication, but Janiah politely declines. Then she receives a phone call from school about Arya's bruises and her lunch money. Janiah explains that the girl is sick and that she fell. She also adds that she'll be paying the $40 lunch fee later. Janiah asks Richard for her salary and a quick break to go to Arya's school. Although he's pissed, he gives her 30 minutes but doesn't give her any money. Why Richard look like Uncle Ruckus on Ozempic though? Janiah heads to the bank. She only has $47 and needs $40 from it. However, she couldn't withdraw her money. The bank manager, Nicole, explains that if the account holds less than the required minimum amount, it will close. Janiah is okay with that and asks it to be processed immediately. But Nicole doesn't let her cut the line. When she gets to school, social workers are already taking Arya. They say that the teacher reported that Arya goes to school hungry and dirty. Janiah insists that despite being poor, she takes care of her daughter well. She begs them not to upset Arya because she might suffer from another seizure. The social worker assures her that they'll take care of the girl. Already disoriented, Janiah rushes to get back to work. She almost gets in an accident, pissing another driver off. The man gets furious, and he hits Janiah's car with his. When Officer Sam arrives, Janiah learns that the man who hit her car, Oliver, is also a cop. Oliver lies and says Janiah hit her. Then he threatens to find a legal way to shoot her dead if he sees her again. She tries to explain, but Officer Sam writes her a ticket and has her car towed because her license and registration are expired. This is a struggle movie if I've ever seen one. When she gets back, Richard tells her she's fired. She's 2 hours late. He refuses to hand her check, explaining that it's company policy the last paycheck will be sent by mail. Then it gets worse. Janiah returns home and finds all of their things outside in the rain. The landlord has officially kicked her out. Arya's meds also got wet, but Janiah decides to save the science project and puts it in a transparent bag. Then she returns to the grocery, begging Richard for her check. But he insists she has to wait for the mail, even though he can just hand it over. Suddenly, a man shows up, greets Janiah by name because of her name tag, and declares a robbery. He orders her to put all the money in the transparent bag. Janiah begs him not to take the money because she needs it for her daughter. They wrestle for the gun, and she ends up shooting him. His accomplice escapes, leaving Janiah with Richard. Richard accuses her of orchestrating the robbery just because the man called her name. Janiah explains that she's still wearing her name tag, but Richard doesn't listen and immediately reports her to the 911 operator. Then she shoots him before taking her check. Even with all the money right there, Tyler Perry loves to keep Taraji screaming in trauma. Just look at acrimony. Detectives Kay and Billy are called to the scene. Billy thinks that Janiah was in on it, having seen the security footage of her shooting Richard. But Kay thinks she was also a victim because no money was taken. Kay is fine, but the way that wig's situated has me concerned. At least her makeup on point. Janiah's friend also defends her, saying she's a good person. Meanwhile, Janiah heads to the bank. Even though they're about to close, Nicole lets her in. The teller, Tessa, refuses to cash her check because Janiah doesn't have an ID with her. She frequents the bank and knows that she's already a familiar face. Still, Tessa stands her ground, so Janiah takes out the gun and asks her again. This time, Tessa starts to take out some cash, but she also presses a button alerting the manager and the authorities that there's a robbery. Nicole talks to the police on the phone and reports that Janiah has a bomb in her bag. The detectives learn that Janiah was kicked out of her home, and now apparently she's robbing a bank. Janiah is surprised when the tellers, Tessa and Raya, start to take out a lot of money. She insists she just needs her $521 and nothing more. Nicole tells the guard to let the people out, but no one wants to leave without getting their money, so she finally spills that there's an armed robber inside. Tessa keeps panicking, so Nicole steps in and orders her to give Janiah her money. Janiah is so disoriented she doesn't understand why everyone is so scared. The police finally arrive and surround the place. Chief Wilson asks his detectives what they've learned so far. Suddenly, a man tries to tackle Jonia, and the gun goes off. Realizing the seriousness of it, the guard and the man both run out of the bank. The man puts the security guard on full blast, saying he didn't do shit, so he had to try to unarm Jonia. Meanwhile, Jonia gets angry that Tessa keeps crying when she's not even hurting her. Then she sees on TV the news about the situation. Detective K tells Chief Wilson that Jonia might speak to her because she's a woman. So when Dan, the negotiator, arrives, he lets K continue. Jonia explains to the detective that the gun went off by accident and that she just wanted to cash her check when the teller suddenly gave her more than that. She gets angry that Tessa called the police on her. Kay asks her to come out, but Jonia knows she'll be locked up if she does, so she ends the call. When she gets the money, she hands $40 to Nicole to give to Aria for lunch money. Then she sees that Officer Oliver is outside the bank, the fugly man who rammed her car earlier. Fearing that she'll be killed, she orders the teller to close the blinds. Watching the live feed of the security cameras, the authorities have mistaken the science project for a bomb, so the bomb squad is called. Raya sets up her phone to go on TikTok Live to show what is happening inside and get some galaxies while she's at it. When a veteran and his wife demand to leave, Jonia just lets them walk out. The school project starts beeping, and everyone thinks they're going to die. But Jonia just turns it off and asks them to stay with her. The tellers want to run out, but Nicole reminds them that they can't leave the elderly woman alone. They also don't want to agitate Jonia because of the bomb in her bag. As Jonia gets some chairs for those inside, the police contemplate calling the FBI. Kay wants to save Jonia's life, and she's worried that the FBI will have a different goal. She's convinced that Jonia is a good person based on the evidence she's seen so far. Detective Kay calls again, and this time, Jonia tells the story of her life. She says she was robbed, kicked out of the house, and fired and has no money for her daughter. The live feed is watched by the community, and they listen as Jonia cries about her situation. Detective K tries to sympathize, saying she too struggled as a child and raised by a single mom. Jonia also admits that she can't get out because of the police officer who threatened to kill her. Chief Wilson doesn't like that Raya is live on her phone inside the bank, so he orders that cell phone signals be jammed. While Jonia is unplugging the cameras, Tessa is busy finding a way out. Detectives Kay and Billy haven't found the officers Jonia mentioned to them. The old lady Isabella tries to sympathize with Jonia because she knows what it's like. However, Tessa doesn't even feel sorry for Jonia. I enjoyed Tessa more when she was getting slapped hard on Beauty in Black.
You fool. Do it again. Do it again. Do it again. Do it again.
Because it's too cold, Nicole offers her jacket to Jonia. They get the chance to talk about their kids and how their lives are different from each other. Jonia says she can't end up in prison because no one will take care of Aria, and she doesn't want to leave her with her mother and sister. Nicole tries talking some sense into her, but Jonia says she'll figure something out. Suddenly, there's a mob outside showing their support for Jonia. They want her freed because they understand why she snapped and did what she did. Then the FBI arrives, and Chief Bryce announces they'll take over the situation. The ladies inside talk about all sorts of things, and Jonia reveals that when she was pregnant with Aria, the hospital tried to get her to abort her baby. She doesn't have anybody to help her. Nicole assures her she's on her side, so Jonia asks her to take care of Aria until she gets out of prison. The bank manager assures her she will. Isabella starts to feel unwell, so Jonia lets her out too, but Nicole refuses to leave and returns inside. Agent Bryce contacts Jonia, but she prefers Detective K. Talking to the agent just makes her even more upset. She doesn't want to go out unless the officer who threatened her is gone. Suddenly, the device starts beeping again, scaring everyone. When Jonia realizes why they're afraid, she explains that it's just a harmless science project and not a bomb. Scared, Tessa heads to the bathroom and writes a message on the window saying there's no bomb and that Jonia only has one gun. Jonia wants to call the authorities and say it's not an explosive, but Nicole stops her. She explains that the assumption that she has a bomb is the only thing stopping the authorities from coming in. Instead, she advises Jonia to tell Detective K that she's going out, leaving the backpack behind. Just then, the detectives find Officer Sam, and she explains to them that Officer Oliver was the one who hit Jonia's car. Detective K snaps and punches Oliver, saying he caused all of this when he hit Jonia's car. Agent Bryce prevents them from answering the phone, but Detective K defies him and tells Jonia that Officer Oliver has been found. She wants proof that it's him, so they have agreed that the photo will be sent and Jonia will finally come out. But Officer Bryce refuses to turn on the phones unless the hostages are released. So Detective K heads to the bank and shows Jonia Oliver's photo. After confirming, she lets the two tellers leave. But Nicole decides to stay behind and stand by her. Then Jonia receives a call from her mother. She argues that she didn't rob the bank and just needs her money for Aria's medicine. So her mother reminds her that Arya is already dead. She died the night before, after having a seizure. They took her to the hospital, but it was too late. Suddenly, Junia comes to realize that the entire day she was only imagining her daughter. She was alone the whole time she thought she was with her. A social worker didn't take the child, and it was just Junia hallucinating. Nicole admits she learned the truth a while ago. Then Agent Bryce gives the signal to storm the bank. Junia imagines being shot to death, but then Nicole takes her hand and assures her they will make it out alive. They walk out together, hands up. As promised, Detective K. Raymond is there to guide her. As she handcuffs her, Detective K says it's nice to finally meet Junia. While she gets in the car, people cheer for her, showing their support for her, and the movie ends. Damn, I understood the intent of Tyler Perry, wanting to show the struggles of everyday people. But the writing in the movie ain't it, and showing struggle after struggle was too much. Taraji and Sherri carried the movie though. What did you guys think? It is currently #1 on Netflix.
Subscribe to watch more videos like this. Turn on notifications. And leave a like, it really helps the channel out. Thank you for watching.